Well, hello and welcome NBL1 and all of the very first one-of-a-kind review show ready before the final round of NBL1 Central Basketball action. My name is Downtown Allan Browne and I am joined by the legendary commentary crew, just a small portion of our commentary crew here at NBL1 Central, Phil Herden, Bevan Jones and Tristan Prentice. Good evening, fellas.
Good evening, guys.
Wonderful to see you all. We don't really see each other very much these days with COVID and everything. We can't catch up for in-person meetings, but it's nice to be able to jump on the laptops and the Zoom meetings and get something like this in place for what will be a cracker of a weekend of basketball. Just to quickly touch on what we've got ahead of us. So we've got three teams vying for the very last spot in the women's NBL1 Central. So we're going to get straight into it because there is a lot to unpack for the women and the men. So for the women's NBL1 Central, we've got West Adelaide, Norwood and North Adelaide all vying for that last fifth spot of the finals five. So Phil, I know you've been doing a bucket load of work in terms of the mathematics of who has to do what. Realistically, those three teams, someone has to win two games. Can any of them win two games to lock themselves away? Anybody wants to jump in?
Oh, sorry, I thought that question was asked. It was directed to Phil.
It was, but Phil wasn't listening. So Bev, fire away. Phil will park you for a minute. So.
Thank you. No, it's just dropping in and out. 21st century technology.
Technology, gotta love it. Bev, what do you think any of our teams here that we're looking at, so West Adelaide North and Norwood, can any of those three teams win two games to make that final fifth spot?
Yeah, I reckon Norwood can. I've seen enough of Norwood this year to be impressed, and obviously they've got Ali Wilson. We know how much of a superstar she is. Played WNBL, and Jen Enson's one of the stars of the competition as well. Can light it up when she wants to, and they've got a number of other really good players as well. So I feel as though Norwood can get the job done. They take on Centrals, and we know sort of Centrals are one of the strugglers this season. Unfortunately, a young side. I think Norwood can sort of take to the sword a little bit. So I feel as though Norwood, in my opinion, is a team that will take that fifth spot.
So Tristan, I know you watch the league very, very closely. North Adelaide have got Eastern at St. Francis. That's not a guaranteed win for North Adelaide. Eastern have been showing some real form in this last month or so of basketball. They could snatch the win against North and put their finals hopes in the bin. And then they've got Southern at home, so they could potentially go 0-2 and really write themselves off. Do you give them any chance?
Oh, I give them a chance, certainly, because I think when your destiny is in your own hands, like it is for the North Adelaide Rockets, and you got some real experience at that North Adelaide Rockets team with Sammy, Dan Francesco, and obviously Taylor Ortler, and Jess Good's been in amazing form for them. And I think that's the area potentially the Mavs and the Tigers are potentially the weakest in terms of is that front court, etc. I mean, the Tigers have got Taj Morrell, but by the time we arrive at that game, they'll already be in first place locked away. So I think that maybe the desperation of North Adelaide could potentially get them across the line in that final game. However, I also believe that the Flames will sew it up by the afternoon before North Adelaide take that court with wins over the Bearcats and the Lions. So, but I think it's going to be between those two, Norwood Flames and North Adelaide Rockets for that fifth spot.
So Phil, I know you've been doing a lot of number crunching. I tried to do it and it was driving me cocoa bananas. Can you give us a bit of an outlay from West Adelaide North and Norwood, what they have to do from a mathematical perspective if they happen to go 1-1, all three of them go 1-1, and it's all still a bit uncertain leading into that last game on Sunday? Mathematically, what do these teams need to do to sew up that fifth spot?
Yeah, look, if they all go 1-1 and they end up 9-9, there's a three-way tiebreaker that at the moment I can't tell you who wins because it will come down to margins of the Norwood-West game. And this is how tight it's going to get. And the women's is the simple one. If West beat Norwood, that's enough to claim the tiebreaker. If Norwood beat West by 34 points or more, they'd claim it. And if Norwood beat West between 1 to 32 points, North would claim it. If it happens to be Norwood defeating West by 33, and that makes everyone 9-9, we go to another level of tiebreaker, and that's the goal difference. And at the moment, that's North plus 128, West plus 123. And even though Norwood are minus 16, they got 2 games to play, one of those being Central District Lions. So, yeah, that's the Armageddon possibility if they all go 1-1 and end up 9-9. To me, look, I think Norwood will go 2-0. I think that they will take care of Centrals. I'm going to be there Saturday night. No issue there at the Arc. And I think with the finals up for grabs at home, they'll beat the Bearcats. The real question is, can North Adelaide beat the Southern Tigers on Sunday? What will happen with the team at home playing for its final survival against the minor premier that's maybe looking forward to 2 weeks' time? So could the upset be on? I've seen it happen in final rounds in plenty of other leagues and sports. What I do know, gentlemen, we won't know who takes that 5th spot until Sunday afternoon.
And that's the most wonderful thing about how tight this NBL1 Central season has been. Going into that very, very last game, it could be absolutely anyone's. Forestville can't go up above South Adelaide because South Adelaide have the split from what I researched there.
Yes.
So if
Correct. Yeah.
South lose and Forestville win, it doesn't make any difference. So potentially could Forestville, who only have that one game, do you think they take the foot off the pedal? West Adelaide, they only lost by 1 point the last time these two teams played 3 free throws from Sam Simons. Could they just take that foot off the pedal a little bit? West Adelaide jump in and get that win, and all of a sudden they could potentially have that win against Norwood on the Sunday and lock themselves away in 5th spot.
100% West Adelaide could do that, and they match up very well against the Eagles with Jenny Rintala. Their front court is bigger and stronger than the Eagles in terms of, especially in that situation where West Adelaide have to win. And then it comes down to the battle of, again, the backcourts against each other for the Flames and the Bearcats, and obviously West Adelaide's front court up against an inexperienced front court for the Norwood Flames. Despite Jenna Anderson being in that team, they have Tara Girardi versus Jenny Rintala, and that's going to be a tough cover for Tara Girardi in that situation.
Absolutely agree.
That's a really good question, Brownie. I've seen Forestville, quite a bit this year, and they're a super impressive team. It'd be interesting to see whether they give much court time to Basham and Simons. Both of those girls obviously now part of the Adelaide Lightning for the next season, or would they rest them up for finals? Because, like you guys said, if those girls don't play a lot of court time, then that really does open up things for West Adelaide, and it does make it a sort of fascinating Sunday. And what a promoter's dream to be going into the last day of the minor round season, not knowing who's going to be playing finals. It's amazing, isn't it?
It's
absolutely
perfect situation that you want to see. And it's wonderful that we've been able to promote this sport in our state the way it has been with what's been on show. So to wrap things up for me, I think Norwood will get the double. I mean, they've got the easiest draw, and this is no disrespect to Centrals. Centrals have been plucky, but the last time that these two teams met was a 50-point win to Norwood. So you would expect them to get the job done and be ready for West Adelaide the following day. So that's where I'm looking at. My final 5 will be Southern at the top, Sturt, South Adelaide, Forestville, and Norwood. Bevan, your 5?
Yeah, exactly the same. Sorry to be boring, Brownie, but exactly the same as well. So
TP?
Yeah, same 5 as well. Norwood to clinch 5th spot.
And are you going to be any different there, Phil, or have you got something
for us? No, I think we're an awesome foursome in agreement on that one. I mean, I thought this was going to be about argument, debate, and getting stuck into each other. Maybe we'll leave that for the men.
Wait to the men's. Wait to the men's, gentlemen.
Well, I've been worried about this all day because I've read every bit of note that I've got, and I still don't understand what the heck is going on. Just to quickly finish up with the girls as well. So as far as I can see, it'll be Forestville versus 5th on the ladder in the elimination final at Wayville, which will probably be on the Friday night, potentially. The qualifying final will be Sturt versus South at Springbank. I'd imagine that'd probably be a Saturday night because that'll be an absolute banger
just
preview
a quick one,
coming up this
downtown.
weekend.
Sturt plays South this weekend.
Yes, they do. I'll be there.
They'll play each other twice in a row.
With nothing at stake. I wonder what kind of ducks and drakes we're going to this weekend.
It'll be interesting with because we've got Ashley Spencer for South Adelaide coming back. She's been back for the last 2 games after a significant calf injury. So getting minutes into her, I would probably see Olivia Thompson resting a bit in this game, just to get her cherry right for finals. But I would expect Splash to hit the court and be managed well, because her output's been a bit low from what you would expect from Ashley Spencer. But we'll see how he goes. So it'll be very, very interesting. I'll keep you guys well informed on Saturday night from Marion, from the jungle, or the jungle shed, or whatever they want to refer to it there. So
is that the last game?
It's Michael Armat Court, baby.
Michael Armat Court. We'll just roll with that. The jungle shed can be put to bed.
Sorry, Phil.
Michael Armat Court.
Is that possibly going to be the last games at that venue too?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yes,
good point.
Indeed. I'll
good
make sure
point.
I'll just
going to miss that commentary spot.
I'll wedge out a bit of court just to take with me as a memento. You know, like with the pickets that they took from Adelaide Oval to knock that out. So we'll quickly move on to the men, because I didn't keep an eye on the time as how long we've got left. So we'll quickly get into the men, because this is tantalising at best. So we've got Norwood Central's, Southern, Woodville, North. Probably not West. I'm pretty sure we can put a line through them. But those teams, I mean, Norwood have got the finals. They're in. That's fine. But their position will be determined in terms of win and loss for the rest of this weekend coming up. So Norwood have got Centrals at home and West Adelaide, as we know. Central play Norwood. That's the only game they've got left, and they're done. Southern play, obviously, Woodville at the Cage, and then North at Lightsview. Woodville just have Southern. They've only got one more game left. That's it. And North Adelaide have Eastern at St. Francis, and then Southern at Lightsview, which is pretty obvious because I just read out Southern's as well. So it's going to be a pretty heavy weekend. I think North are going to do the double. I think they'll get the double and get themselves into cherry right position. For me, you win 10 games, you play finals, and then everything else in terms of math and how it all works out is anybody's guess. Phil, I'll throw to you, the math genius in our group, who's done tireless work on this one. Can you give us a bit of inside info, a bit of direction? Because I'm lost.
I've been involved in sports broadcasting, believe it or not, for over 30 years, and I've never seen anything like this anywhere, except maybe NFL playoffs, because they have some weird stuff going with their 12. But 10-team comp, top 5, there are at the moment 75 different possible outcomes, because it's not just teams winning and losing, it's teams winning, losing, and how much the losing team loses by.
Wow.
Where there's a split to be had. And where there's a split to be had, that could then decide it. So look, I haven't gone through all 75, but let's break down the basics. The Armageddon scenario involves about 7 results going a particular way and us having a 5-way tie. 4th spot at 9, for 4 spots, at 9 and 9, with 2 spots up for grabs. The sad story is, for West Adelaide, I could not find a path that West Adelaide could make the finals. Like Woodville, they can only get in on a tiebreaker, because they got to get to 9 wins. Somehow get past Central or Southern, also on 9 wins. Now, Woodville could do it. West Adelaide cannot, so they're gone. Most teams have destiny in their hands. Southern Tigers do, Central do. Amazingly, North Adelaide don't. If we end up with North Adelaide, Central and Southern on a 10-8 3-way tie, North Adelaide actually miss out, even if they win both games. They're just a couple of the scenarios. It's just the craziest setup I have ever seen.
It's going to be, I mean, look, I will be keeping an eye on every game as best I can while doing my game on Saturday night, just trying to get a bit of clarity before the final games there on Sunday. And I'm sure even at 12 o'clock at night tomorrow night, I'm sure we'll all be chatting, trying to figure out where who is and which way they're going. It is phenomenal. I've got my final 5 in place. I think rather than going through every single scenario like you mentioned before the 75, this is how I feel we'll see the season finish up for these teams. So for me, Norwood will win both, end up on 12 and 6. Forestville will beat West, and so Norwood finish third. So if Forestville lose to West, then Norwood could potentially finish second. So that's going to be interesting, but I don't see it happening. Forestville have been wonderful this year, especially in this last month. So we'll see how that goes. For me, Centrals will finish 9 and 9. I don't think they'll win on Saturday night. Sapwell's gone. Mang Yang, I'm pretty sure, is gone as well off to college. They've lost David Humphries for the year, so there's a lot of firepower there. Shaquille Maharaj and Lual Ding will have to go for 30 points each for Centrals to really have a fight in terms of putting up enough points to beat Norwood, who have been in tremendous form this last month and a bit.
Yang's a huge loss, isn't it? I think he scored 38 last game.
Oh, massive loss.
Yes.
Coming leaps and bounds. Absolutely agree. Southern will beat Woodville, but they'll lose to North, so they'll finish on they'll finish at 5th on 10 and 8. Woodville will lose to Southern and will go 9 and 9, finish 7th, with the Centrals there finishing in 6th position. North will win both games, and that's including beating Southern by more than 4 points, and they'll finish on 10 and 8 and finish 4th. That's my 5. That's how I've broken it down in my head. That's what I foresee happening. Bevo, what are you seeing in the Saturday Sunday coming up this weekend?
Yeah, as you guys spoke about, it's so hard to pick, but we love it because it makes such an exciting round. So Sturt can't lose top spot, so no, that's going to happen. Second, I think Forestville, like you guys spoke about, Forestville being one of the really good teams this year, as they have been for a number of years. They've got so many stars, with Mays, Harris, Browne, the list goes on. I think the Flames will finish third. I've seen them close hand last week. They were very impressive against Sturt. I think Southern will finish 4th. And I think North, they should have a big win over Eastern. Once again, no disrespect to Eastern. They've really improved, and with William Wise coming into their side, I know they had a big loss last week against Centrals, but they've definitely been one of the improvers. Yet to win a game this year, but I'm excited about the future for Eastern if they can keep some of their youngsters around. But yeah, getting back to North, I think they'll beat Eastern comfortably, and then I think they can get the job done against Southern as well. So I think North will finish 5th.
I agree. I think it's just going to be an interesting game of that in the Northeastern game. I look. This is the last roll of the dice for Eastern to win a game. They had patches of impressiveness on Saturday night. On Sunday afternoon, I should say. And so it's going to be very interesting to see how they go up against North Adelaide, who won't have Sunday Detch, who's been pulled. So they won't have him at all for the remainder of this season. So it's going to be an interesting outcome there. So. Yeah. TP, your thoughts on the 5 and how it's going to settle by the end of Sunday afternoon?
Well, I'm going to back the Central District Lions to beat the Flames on Saturday night. I think they've been really impressive, Central Districts, and I think Matt Atkins will find something and get them into that 5. He's worked too hard this season to leave this opportunity there. And especially with the form the team's been in, I feel like guys will step in and play their roles. I just got a funny feeling that even though the Flames have been in really sparkling form coming into this last round, I just feel like the Lions are going to get that win. They're going to go to 10 and 8. And then I feel like the Woodville Warriors are actually going to upset the Tigers at home on Saturday night with Julian Jacobs and Joe Jackson, which then makes it really interesting because it depends how much they win by. It's not going to be quite enough, I don't think, to get into the finals, but they're going to go real close to knocking out the Tigers or the Rockets. So, but then I think I agree with you. I think Norwood will win on Sunday against the Bearcats. And then I think you're right, the Rockets will take care of the Mavs. But I feel like the Mavs, like you said, will be very competitive. I think from last time, if I'm correct, the Rockets and the Mavs had actually a much closer game than any of the games that they've been this season. But they still have McVeigh, so that makes it a tough cover for the Mavs to try and stop him. But then it comes down to that Rockets-Tigers game, and I feel like that's still a game the Rockets have to win to get to 10 and 8 even if they win on the Saturday night. So I've got the Flames finishing on 11 and 7. I've got Central District Lions finishing on 10 and 8, Rockets 10 and 8, and I've got the Tigers and the Warriors missing by the smallest of margins.
Drama aplenty.
6 and 7.
Oh my goodness.
Very close though.
Drama coming up this weekend. Phil, we'll lastly flick to you for your outcomes of the weekend. What does the crystal ball say for you?
Yeah, I'm judging back and forth. I've seen a lot of Central District, and I'd like to see them make the finals. They haven't been there for some time in the men's, but I just don't know what stock they have left. Because don't forget, the season is actually supposed to be over by now. We're supposed to be playing first week of finals this weekend, but it's all got extended by a week. So let's assume Forestville beat West, Norwood beat Central, Southern Tigers beat Woodville, Norwood beat West, North beat Southern. I think they're all the games that I need to go. Then basically it's going to be Sturt, Forestville, Norwood, Southern Tigers, and North Adelaide who make the finals. Central miss out and Woodville miss out.
Oh, wow.
There we go. What a look! That's some very interesting final fives. I think we're all going to be very surprised on Sunday to see what that eventuates to be. For those of you out there listening and reviewing this cast, I'm not sure if it's a podcast or if it's just a video or a show. We haven't given it any sort of thought at this point. Please comment below, have a chat amongst your friends, reach out to us directly. We're all over social media, so please go ahead and do that. Make sure you are tuning in to NBL1 Central this Saturday night and obviously Sunday afternoon right around SA. There's plenty of games that mean a heck of a lot each one. Jump on the NBL app and do that. Thank you so much, Phil, Bevo, and TP for joining me this evening for the breakdown. It's been wonderful to catch up with you guys. I'm sure we'll see you guys on the Sunday week at the Halls Willicott. It'll be nice to see you in person. Haven't done that all year, and I think we'll do this
Can't wait, boys.
Next weekend on next Friday, if we can manage it. And get something in place to have a bit of a look at who may take home the Halls of Willicott and what the finals outlay may look like. So thank you once again, boys, and have a wonderful weekend. We'll catch you all at the basketball. NBL1 Central coming to you very, very soon. It's going to be a big weekend of basketball.